What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the YouTube Fantasy Cruncher Slate preview for Tuesday, February 4th. I'm CJ Kaltenbach here. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like. Really does help us out. Helps us continue these. So feel free to subscribe, like, and then, of course, leave with your Fantasy Cruncher username in the comments section how many fantasy points James Harden's got or will get tonight, and we'll go ahead and do a drawing with everyone from this week for a free week of Fantasy Cruncher Pro. All right, let's do it. We've got 4 games, so we should be able to run through this pretty quickly. 4 good basketball games today. We start with Milwaukee at New Orleans, and this game is a close one. Milwaukee favored by 6, so this shows you the power of the new Pelicans team with Jrue Holiday back and with Zion Williamson. And you know, we don't get many chances to play Giannis in what's going to be a competitive game, and this is one of them. He's going to probably play about 30 to 35 minutes of this game. He's a 1.87 fantasy point per minute guy. I mean, closer to 2, depending on what scoring system you're looking at. I mean, he's been basically nearing triple-doubling every single slate. I don't think you can fade Giannis at any price on this slate, especially if you think this game's going to be competitive. Now, if you don't think this game's going to be competitive, sure, then you can fade Giannis, and there's definitely other stars to go to. But right now, if you told me I could only pick one star on this slate, it would be Giannis. And I just the consistency, the usage rate in the 40s, I mean, that's just kind of insane. So Giannis is my favorite. Zion Williamson is kind of the wrong 4 for this kind of game. Like, he's a really good player, obviously, but I kind of want someone that can shoot some threes, and that's just not Zion. I know he made 4 in his debut, but that's not Zion. He hasn't made any sense. So I don't really want to go there. Brandon Ingram or Jrue Holiday is closer to the guy I really like to target here against Milwaukee. Jrue Holiday would be a good fit if I just thought he would take more threes. Like, I know he takes 5 or 6 a game, but I really just want, like, the gunner against this Milwaukee team. Actually, J.J. Redick's on this team. Is J.J. Redick going to play? J.J. Redick at 3,700 is in a really interesting spot against this team. For all the reasons I just talked about. Gunner, can shoot threes. Now, does he have any real closing equity? That's tough for me. Probably not. But if he gets hot, maybe. But 3,700 for J.J. Redick, a guy who can shoot threes against this Milwaukee team, is just always really appealing to me. Derek Favors, 4,900. He's kind of back down to his 24-minute-a-night ways that they kind of brought him in for. I don't hate this spot for him, especially in a pace-up spot. Definitely can just kind of go 12 and 11, double-double here, and pay off this price. So this is a nice, interesting option, especially on the 4-game slate. You know, we don't have like a ton of games to choose value from, so that's an appealing option. In terms of Milwaukee, outside of Giannis, the price on Middleton is fair. The price on Bledsoe is fair. I just don't think I'm going to get there other than a game stack or something along those lines. But this definitely is a game stackable game. It's a 245 total. It's 12. What is that? No, it's like 20 points higher than any of the other games. So definitely nothing wrong with game stacking this game if that's the way you want to go. But for me, the focus is really our Giannis, Ingram, Holiday, and then a J.J. Redick dart throw. All right, next game, Charlotte at Houston. Russell Westbrook is doubtful. Clint Capella has already been ruled out. So this gets us another P.J. Tucker at center game. I know he disappointed last time, but anytime P.J. Tucker's going to play center, I'm simply just going to be interested. It's just going to raise the rebounding floor. He can get you to 8 to 10 rebounds. And then all he's got to do is get you 8 to 9 points, and he's going to get you there. Look, the 8 to 9 points is definitely the hard part with him. I fully acknowledge that. But again, we're looking at a 4-game slate. We don't really have much luxury to be very picky with value. Also, this Houston team is very rumored to be doing trades. And P.J. Tucker's the one guy I just know isn't going to get dealt from this kind of wing rotation group. So that's definitely has appeal as well to me. With Westbrook out, I mean, it's all about James Harden. We can just do a quick search on James Harden with Capella and off the floor. but it's going to be, let's get to Houston. And I take Westbrook, and I take Capella off the floor, and I put Harden on the floor. And James Harden's averaging two fantasy points per minute. So he's definitely, one of the better studs on the slate. I still like Giannis better, but I fully understand if you're like, no, I want to go to James Harden here. 2 fantasy points per minute in a game that could be more competitive than the spread indicates. I would understand if you're like, I want to play James Harden. If you can fit them in both, great, but it's 4-game slate, not a ton of value. That'll be a little trickier than you think. In terms of Charlotte's side, this is kind of a pace-up game for Charlotte. But like most Charlotte games, I just really have no idea who to play. Like Marvin Williams is on the block anyways. He's not playing full minutes. PJ Washington is probably going to sit again. So, does that mean Monk's going to get extra run? Play 22 minutes? That's not a bad option. Especially against Houston. They play a lot of wings and PJ Tucker at center. William Gomez is just not going to play enough minutes. Zeller probably just not going to play enough minutes. Although if he does play this well, he'll get there. But that's pretty cupcake matchup row there. This matchup, even against PJ Tucker, is harder than any of those. Miles Bridges is starting to get priced up, but he's probably the best of these options. He'll probably play more minutes. So he's been playing in the mid-30s since PJ Washington's been out, taking a ton of shots. This is probably a good option at 5,300. Probably one of the better value options I've seen so far. So I can get on board with Miles Bridges. And then you got to pick between Rozier or Graham. One's going to go off, one's going to be bad. Kind of seen that for a while. Graham, too, has kind of hit a little bit of a wall. All-Star break right around the corner. Might be a time to just fade Graham until after the break. I could see that. Kind of reminds me of the Bruins, where a couple weeks before you could just see they were dead. And they struggled really hard into the break. So I don't mind fading Devontae Graham if you want to go that direction. Miles Bridges is the best of these options for Charlotte. Then Terry Rozier. And then probably Cody Zeller if I was ranking Charlotte guys that I had interest in today. Okay, let's move on to game number 3, Portland at Denver. Denver, the 4-point favorites here. Another team that's, a lot of these teams are kind of stars and scrubby. So, we look at Milwaukee, they're stars and scrubs. Pelicans, stars, maybe not so much scrubs. Their role guys are better, but Houston for sure. It's like Harden and everyone else. Portland is basically Damian Lillard and everyone else. Look, I know Damian Lillard has been just on an absolute ridiculous heater. I just don't know how you play him over Harden or Giannis today. Look, these numbers are just baffling to look at. Shooting 60% from 3 on 30 attempts, usage in the high 30s. There's no one else on this team. You can't count on this. This isn't sustainable. 4-game slate. I'm probably going to close my eyes and fade Lillard. And I'm probably going to go back to Whiteside, one of my favorite options. I've told you for weeks on this show, I am going to play Whiteside until he is a 10K player. He hasn't really ever come close to being 10K, so I'm just going to keep rolling him. This is another good spot for him to go for 2020 against Jokic, not the biggest threat inside, so I like him at 8,500. Jamal Murray's questionable, so we have to see if he comes back. If he comes back, I don't mind him. I think he's expected to be back, but they might just save him for the other end of the back-to-back, so we'll have to see what they do with Jamal Murray. If he plays, I like him. If he doesn't, I like Will Barton. He really hasn't gone off, but the numbers really... Oh, he finally went off over the weekend. That's good. Finally had that good game against Milwaukee. Actually, that makes sense. 31st was Friday. Yeah, that makes sense. That was a good spot for him to really crush. So, I like him if Jamal Murray doesn't play. Jeremy Grant, 5,700, appears at first glance to be an overprice, but his minutes are really secure just with Michael Porter Jr. out and everyone else out. he's going to play the vast majority of minutes at the 4. And Portland doesn't really have a 4. It's Carmelo Anthony. This is actually a matchup that Grant really can just kind of dominate. So 5,700 for Grant, I think on this 4-game slate is a play that, like, it's not sexy, so no one's really going to love it, but I think it's a really sneaky play, and definitely one that I'm going to be strongly considering today. You know, Gary Harris at 3,800, he plays a ton of minutes. He's kind of got a PJ Tucker to him, but at one point he could really shoot. So if you're looking for a contrarian value play, I think that's an option. Ariza, you kind of similar. You know what you're going to get. Kind of just going to stay on the corner, but could do well. I don't hate Melo, but with Ariza there, and the way Lillard's on this heater right now, I'm Kaltenbach. I don't think I would play Melo. I would just play Grant first. But there's a bunch of decent options in here. Grant is definitely the best of them. But if you told me you played a stack with Grant, Anthony, and Ariza, I wouldn't laugh at you. I definitely could see that. But for me, I think Grant's clearly the best of these options. Jokic at 10K, I just don't know how I'm going to get to him today. There's just other studs that are just simply better. But he's always a nice option to have if you want to be contrarian, but I just not going to get there. San Antonio with the Lakers. San Antonio on the no-travel back-to-back, so they played LA last night. They're playing LA today. DeMar DeRozan, I don't know how many more times I just got to say this about DeMar DeRozan. Like, he's been really, really good. His usage is in the upper 30s. His assist rate's up. His rebound rate's up. His free throw rate's been up. I just think this is a really good DeMar DeRozan spot. He's been unreal. And the Lakers don't have Kawhi to shut him down. Like, DeMar DeRozan went off, and then they just said, Kawhi, go. And look, Kawhi's one of the best defenders, and that was a game where they were motivated, and he was defending at a high level. So he kind of tapered off. But the Lakers don't have that kind of stopper. So DeMar DeRozan's not a guy who's just going to shoot a ton of threes. So where the back-to-back really hurts him. He's a driver. He's a mid-range guy. So I going back to DeMar, 7,700, kind of a cheaper price than some of the other studs on the slate. And yes, I said stud, so I'm going to go there. LaMarcus Aldridge at 6,200 is just one of the biggest misprices on the slate. Definitely need to play him. LeBron and AD, 10, 1, and 9. I think they're good stud options. I'd rank them below Giannis and Harden for sure, but they're cheaper, so I would rank them above Lillard, for example. So that just kind of gives you kind of a power ranking of where I'm at right now with the studs on this slate. DeJounte Murray, you just never know what those minutes are going to be, so it's just tough to play him. But when he gets the minutes, he's going to beat this price at a tournament living level. So kind of a guy, if you're playing multiple teams, I would have on some and fade on others. Other than that, in this game, there's just too many role guys to really just play from either one of these teams with any confidence. Rudy Gay, I guess, is the one you could play, but he's back to playing no minutes again. So, and the trade deadline's right around the corner, and apparently he's available, so I would just stay away, personally, from Rudy Gay. I think he'll be a popular value option, but I just don't have any interest. KCP, I guess, at 3,400 is viable. He's going to play upper 20s in minutes. On a 4-gamer, that's the type of value you gotta look at on 4-gamers. Not saying I love it, but it's viable. If you think this game gets out of hand, Lonnie Walker, he closed last game and looked pretty good. If this game gets out of hand, he definitely is a guy in garbage time that could go run up a score. And on a 4-game slate, you do have to really consider that. I don't really consider garbage time on anything bigger than 4. But I just want to point that out where, like, he could be that extra min-price guy that goes off. But, again, that's like a 1 in 50 lineup type thing. I just wanted to mention him. Just because he's got a huge ceiling, he just hasn't had a chance to unleash it yet. So just kind of to put it all together, stud rankings for me, Giannis 1, Harden 2, LeBron and AD 3, 4, and with Lillard at 5. I know that's a hot take, but Lillard, I just can't get to him today with LeBron and AD being cheaper. And honestly, I would probably prefer Whiteside and DeRozan first over Lillard and a scrub. So that's my rankings for the studs. In terms of the value options, we talked about Jeremy Grant. I love him. Derek Favors is another option. Dante DiVincenzo, PJ Tucker. So, none of these are elite value options other than maybe Derek Favors at 4,900. I think that's probably the best of this group. Obviously, LaMarcus Aldridge is too cheap, but I wouldn't consider him a value play. So, that's where we're at. 4-game slate. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already subscribed and liked this video, please do so. And if you just want a free week of Fantasy Cruncher Pro, enter a drawing to win. All you gotta do, leave your Fantasy Cruncher username with how many fantasy points James Harden scores tonight. We'll put you in a drawing, and the winner will be announced on next Monday's stream. With that, I'm CJ. We'll see you tomorrow.